right, recording started. Monumental Mindsets, episode 3.
Three,
Number
baby.
trace. All right. So where do we start? Cheers, brother. Welcome back.
Cheers,
Welcome
man.
back to the United States of America.
Kirkland alkaline water from Costco.
Bam.
Have a nice big wiener in my mouth.
Oh, those are nice, actually. Nice big wiener in my mouth. But those are nice, actually, because they have the alkaline water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's something about like the pH, and it's like much better for like hydration and stuff.
Yeah, supposedly. I haven't done much research in it, but it tastes better to me. And I get like a little more energy out of it. It might be in my head.
It tastes better.
I like it, man.
Well, there's actually like some weird science, like some geeky like kind of science behind like alkaline waters, or like these little straws you can use to like stir up the water or whatever, and kind of like the way that the molecular structure of like the water. So
Mhm.
that's actually what you're doing, like with the alkaline water, like you're drinking like a different molecularly structured water, or like they have like these hydrogen. I think it's like what
Hydrogen water. I have no clue what that is, but it sounds. I mean, all water is H2O, so it has hydrogen. So
Well, I think though, you know, like how like free radicals or whatever, like you have like the antioxidants inside of your body or whatever, and then like the antioxidants become free radicals or some shit like that. I think it's the same thing like with water. I think the water molecules are just like floating all over the place, and then when you put the hydrogen in there, I think it binds them back together, so it's like more optimal for your body. And I think that's how it is from like the natural springs. So I think that's why like that spring water is like good for you. Alkaline water is better for you, like hydrogen water or something like that. I think that those are why it's better for you. Allegedly.
Water. So many different waters nowadays.
I know, right? We should have got on that. We should have got on that boat selling water like 10 years ago. Or 20. Fuck.
Just bottle it 10 different ways, same water, and you mix them in.
We are talking about water on Monumental Mindsets. Yeah. Don't forget to drink your water.
Yeah, drink your water.
Hydrate your muscles, baby.
Hydrate for the meat mortars.
Oh my God! Look at those cannons over there, baby. Look at those cannons. That man's been doing bicep curls since 1990. No, you were born 1990 or 89?
91, baby.
91. Been doing biceps curls since 1991, baby.
33, baby.
91. I thought you were. So. You're only a year older than me.
Yeah. I think so. What? I think what year you're born? 90.
92.
Yeah, 91.
92.
Chris is 93. So it might have been like a grade difference thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I like started like a year like later or something, because I was 92.
Yeah.
That's wild. All right.
All
right. Let's do this.
I got enough workout in. I got wiener in my mouth. I'm ready to go, man. Dude, Costco wieners are so good.
Oh my God.
I haven't until today. I swallowed
it. You never had a Costco hot dog?
No. Until today.
Bro, the Costco hot dogs are like infamous, like for like Costco buyers or whatever. Yeah. Like apparently like they haven't raised the prices on those things, and like since they opened like the store. Like I don't even know when the fuck that was, 1800s in the Civil War or some shit. But but apparently like they had like, because I've been shopping at Costco for like ever now, right? So like, you know, I notice everything going up, like dish show prices, the rags we buy for like the cleaning service and stuff, like they've been going up like super there's Barker, but they've been going up like super high in price, like with inflation and stuff. Like Costco's probably like one of the worst culprits of like, you know, very innocuously like putting up like the prices of those things. But the Costco hot dog has infamously been like the one thing that they lose money on consistently, like monthly, right? They consistently lose money, and they're just like, yeah, we're not going to touch the hot dog. We're just going to keep it that way.
Interesting. Yeah, don't touch the hot dog, man.
I can't believe you never had a Costco dong till today.
I've never had a Costco dog, man.
You're putting those dongs right in your mouth. Like, give me that 12-footer.
Put it down real quick, man.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But hey, so where should we start with this this monumental? I mean, I guess we started 5 minutes deep talking about dongs and water.
Water, baby. Who's the champion that eats a lot of dongs and sucks the water down with it? What's that thing called? The hot dog eating contest? I don't know.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, what is his name? Like
Kiyosaki or
Robert
something?
Kiyosaki? No, that's the author to that book.
I don't know.
I know. No, he's not even a. He's not
Oh,
even the
there's
guy.
Joey Chestnut too. That guy. That's the guy, right?
Yeah, the white guy. The white guy.
He fucking swallows wieners whole, man.
He's always putting his meat mortars out there too. He's like, let's go.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and get started and talking about some monumental mindset, man.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, all right. So I think let's go into like one of the things, and like we'll just start kind of going off of that topic. But um, I think it'd be what do you think is the most important thing for adopting, like, a little cliche here, right? But like, what's the most important element do you think is for adopting a monumental mindset? Like, what does it mean to have a monumental mindset, and how do you adopt one?
For me, let's think here. I would say not giving a fuck what anyone says. I mean, not letting your brain be penetrated by another wiener. I'm just kidding, but not letting your brain get penetrated by like negative thoughts. Just having that bulletproof mindset, man, resilience, and just getting through any environment, any negativity from the outside, right? And just being clear on your goals. And going after it, right? And saying no to anything that's not aligned with it. No matter what people say, what people think, no matter what happens around you, right? That stuff you can't control. Don't worry about it, man. Just do
Mhm.
you and get to where you want to be, man. As long as you have that vision, and that desire to get there, you're gonna get there. Don't let anyone else
Mhm.
tell you differently, right? So I think that monumental mindset is getting to that point where like, you know, people can say stuff, people can want you to do things or whatever, and it's just and at the end of the day, right, it's being authentic to yourself. And if you
Mm.
can't live being authentic to yourself, what the hell is the point of living, man? It's just you're living a lie at that point, right? And um just be clear on what you want, and then and what you want is different than what others want, and that's okay. And just having that light at the end of the tunnel, saying that's where I want to be, and then having the steps of how to get there, and not letting anything get in your way. I think is
Mhm.
mindset. How you get there, you just got to work on your mental strength, man. You just got to challenge yourself each and every day, step by step, put in the reps. It's like you've been talking about waking up early every morning, getting to the gym. That's a big change in your life, and your physical fitness, and just your mentality in general. You can, and that affects multiple areas of your life. So, you know, in the Level Up book, they talk about like picking one habit to change, that will kind of branch out into other changes, right? And one of the big ones in that is waking up. Like you wake up at 5 a.m., right? So that allows
Mhm.
you to get your workout and to get a W right when you wake up, and you get that kind of momentum going, right? So you don't want to change too much at once. You want to change little by little. There's no magic switch, where you're just gonna get from point A to point B. You got to work at it, and having a monumental mindset, is just having that discipline on getting where you want to be, and not letting anything stop you.
Love that. Hell yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I like how those two words that I picked up from there are like authenticity, right? Being authentic to yourself,
Mhm.
and then having the momentum, right? And I
Right.
really think like, and other things among other things inside of there, right? Like having your clear vision, because
Mhm.
and having it align with like your goals, right? Because like if your goal is to, let's say, I don't know, do something creatively, like at night, like for instance like this podcast, like it's obviously dark behind me, these are windows and stuff, right? So like, but like tomorrow I'm still going to be able to kind of wake up and like challenge myself and be like, okay, like we stayed up, we were creative last night, we're still going to wake up at 5, right? Because that aligns with me. But if, for instance, like if you have like a job that you're for some reason out late or whatever, or you're doing something like music related or comedy related or something, like obviously waking up at 5 a.m. is not going to be aligned with that vision for you, right? But
Mhm.
I think like like for me, I think it's like it's a really important thing, and especially because some of those things that you said there, right, where like, you know, you get to, you know, stack the momentum, right? Like every single day that I do this, the momentum gets bigger. I start creating a new identity with myself, and I start being like, okay, like, you know, today is not only like I'm building momentum, but I'm building like this monumental mindset with myself. I'm building this character that is inside of me that I get to translate inside of the world, right?
Right.
And you know, and for me, like, I think that's part of what the monumental mindset is. It's just like you said, right? It's having that bulletproof mind. It's
Right.
committing yourself to the vision, committing yourself to like the actions of it too, right? Because you can it's kind of like, you know, what I was talking about when I was doing one of the writings the other day, and it was like when you overthink about something, right? Like you can be like, okay, tomorrow I'm definitely going to do this. I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to be, you know, super ready or whatever. And then all of your actions before that don't align with, you know, who you are when you want to wake up, like in the morning. That doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't mean like you're going to achieve that thing, you know?
Yeah, no, man, I agree on that. And then, you know, the biggest thing is, like I said, not letting others get in your way, or not just others, but things that happen in your day, right? Might have one negative thing that happened. Like I got home from Costco and Tony's, I dropped an egg on the floor. You know, I've been eating. You know, like I just took a deep breath, like it's okay, it's an egg, you know. But like the old me,
Hmm.
man, I would be like motherfucker and this and that, and you know, I just like flip out from nowhere. So it's like, you know, don't let your situations around you. I know it's a stupid example, but not a stupid example, but a random example of, you know, something that goes wrong and you can make it so much worse, or you can make it better. It's your choice, right? You control
Hmm.
the situation no matter what happens around you. You know, obviously there's way worse things than dropping an egg, but you know, the old me would be so frustrated for breaking an egg, you know. But now I'm just kind of laughing like that. But you know, it's just like anything like that happens, you just have to, you know, just focus on what you control, and that's it, right? Something already
Hmm.
happened. Okay, take a deep breath, think clearly, have a calm mind, and take that next step to, you know, take action. Otherwise, you know, you let your emotion take over or whatever, and um, you know, you act out of character or out of, you know, the identity who you want to be, and you know, you just got to keep focused on where you want to go.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Um, yeah. I'm having like brain farts.
Me too, man.
I was like talking to last time. I'm just like, fuck, where was I going with this? I forgot. And then like I was trying to like keep it going and stuff. And
Yeah.
then but yeah, let's see. Let's go into what was that one thing that you wanted to talk about when we got off the air? Do you remember that one thing on episode 2 when we stopped the episode, and then there was like this tree you were talking about, I think. What was
Mm.
that one tree? Do you remember when we stopped the episode and we were talking for a little bit in the 7 Habits book?
Yeah, that was kind of about like winning your private battles before taking on the public battles and all of
Yes.
that. So yeah, in the 7 Habits book, right? That's one of the ones I've been deep into. And it's just, you know, it has the first 3 habits, which are winning your private battles, and then your second 3 habits are winning your public battles, and then the seventh one's like sharpening the saw, which is like basically working on yourself, on your physical health, social health, mental health, to be able to win those wars, right? Just continuing to sharpen the saw, or you know, improve your tools, or whatever you want to call it. But basically, the private battles, I wish I had in front of me, but I think step one, right, is having that proactive mind, knowing you don't know. I kind of talked about it now, knowing you're in control and not letting those outside influences control your life, right? Because there's so many things in the world that affect your mind, right? And it can be social norms, it can be friends, it can be social media, religion, politics, parents, anything, right? Everyone has their own paradigms on what life should be, how life should be, but is it really you? And you be authentic to yourself. Really sit down yourself and be like, this is who I want to be. This is what I can control, right? So step two, I think habit two is finding that identity, basically, right? So
Hmm.
visualize who you want to be, where you want to be, and all of that. And then step three is more how you're going to get there. Manage your habits, set your habits, and your goals and everything like that to get there, right? And then you have to do that first before getting over to the public battles, right? It's like if you don't like love yourself and know who you are and then getting into a relationship, right? You're not going to be successful in that relationship or friendship or anything because you're going to basically deviate from who you are just to make that relationship work as opposed to being yourself and attracting what you need, or not what you need, but what would complement your life, right? And what would develop over time into a more positive relationship. Because if you once you lose yourself, it's you're compromising on a lot of things just to keep that relationship because you don't know yourself, you don't love yourself. You're just gonna try to hold on to that relationship or friendship or whatever just because that's like all you think you have, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so winning that private battle first, know you're in control, know what you want, and know how to get it and get there, right? So once you love yourself, you know the life you want, you know you have everything set. Work on yourself, and that's what they say: work on yourself before getting relationships and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with friendships or whatever you want to do. But relationships easier for me to relate to. But just make yourself strong, love yourself, know who you are, and then then you can attract someone that would fit that mold for you in your life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
don't go chasing something you don't even know what you want. Like, don't go chasing. Things will fall into place, and someone will match your energy and what you want in life. And then I think step 4, 5, and 6. I can't remember the order, but one of them's like developing win-wins. Um, and the other one was shit. I know the sixth one is synergy. The fifth one was what can I think of it? Oh, listen to understand before speaking, something like that. Understand the other person before speaking, right? So
Mm-hmm.
want to basically, listen to their side of things. So basically, so step 4 basically is win-win, right? So when you're compromising in relationships, you want to work on a win-win mentality. There's no win-lose. There's no lose-lose. Because when you're making compromises for each other, there's always a win-win opportunity. You just got to be creative with it. And you want, they know what they want. You can be transparent and trust each other, and you can create that win-win opportunity, right? And then step 5 is listening to understand, not listening to speak. Because a lot of people, when you listen to somebody, right, they're talking, talking, talking. You're thinking about what you're going to reply with. A lot of people do that. I'm guilty of that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to listen to understand their side of things, right? Because parents are for me like a big example of that. Because my dad be like, "Oh, back in my day, we used to fucking work 80 hours, blah blah blah." So it's like he's thinking from his paradigm, his point of view, right? As opposed to my point of view is totally different and what I want in my life. So yes, listen to what I want or like and understand me so he can respond better, right? And he's been way better at that over time. Learning that that's tough to do is you want to listen to the other person and kind of put yourself in their shoes as opposed to answering from your point of view, right? And that's a big thing. And then synergy. I mean, that's like the ultimate goal, right? It's just you both lift each other up, and and just create this crazy, kind of like me and you, man. I mean, honestly, like creating the synergy together, create this monumental mindsets, and just lift each other up through life and creating that positive energy with each other, and just clicked, and that's so big. And and then from there, right, is sharpen the saw, they call it in the book, and basically with that is just work on your physical health, your mental health, social health, all that stuff to make all that other stuff doable and continually to improve on that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know that was a lot, but the biggest thing is winning your private battles before going into those public battles, right? Like, and it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be a job, right? Don't just take a job because you think, oh, I need to make money and pay my bills. Yeah, you do. That's a good way to start. But really take that time to think of like, what what you're controlling, have control over. Um, know what you really want in life, what gives you purpose, and how to get there, right? Like everyone's got to start from somewhere. So I'm not saying don't work, but like take a job and then figure out where you want to go and know how, and then create the steps to get there. And that was jobs, relationships, friendships, whatever it is in your life, And then I think that's big.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things that you said there was like when you're because a lot of people do this, right? A lot of people that I've met, a lot of, even I just encountered some like a situation like this, like over the phone with one of the clients, right, that I was talking with, and it was like understanding somebody before like you have like your response, right? So it's like,
Yes.
you know, when somebody's talking to you, like you almost have like they can say like two words, right? And then they would start already preparing like what they were going to say based on those two words, and you haven't even finished like the entire thought
Yep.
process out yet. And you know, I guess from like a, you know, from like a business standpoint, right? I think this is one of the things that actually makes or breaks salespeople, because like a large portion of like the business that I do now, and then like which is pretty fucking small, but but it's but at the end of the day, like a lot, but I've been in sales for like a long time, and I think one of the big things that like breaks down with salespeople or
Mhm.
like people in general, right, is they always want to respond to what you're saying. And I think that this is such a huge role like in somebody's life if they're looking to like develop, let's say like in the gym, or they're looking to develop at work, or they're looking to develop as a leader or as a
Mhm.
podcaster or as an influencer or something, or, you know, fill in the blank. But I really think that this is actually one of the most crucial roles in life, or crucial skills that somebody can acquire, is literally just like listening to somebody, hearing them well thought out, and then like and understanding, right, and then being authentic with like your communication afterwards.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times like what people do, like for instance like this lady on the phone, right, like everything I was saying she was interrupting me, and she had to make sure that like she said her thing like before I was even finished, and then I would have to stop, and then I would have to be like, oh well, okay, like, and then I would have to do like a whole new thing, like for like communication and stuff, right? But it's because that she didn't hear me out. And like for instance for like the gym, or for like leadership roles, or for anything in like the workplace or something, um you know, what happens is like, you know, if somebody like obviously you're, you know, very fit, very toned, very strong and stuff, like when you're inside the gym, and if you try to give somebody else advice, they'd be like, yeah, you know what, but like I already have like, they don't even want to hear you out, right? And I
Right.
think that's like an element of communication. And I think until people have like a, you know, kind of like a willingness to learn, a willingness to listen. I think it's
Mhm.
this Barker back there and those meat mortars, baby. But I think until people, but I think until people really have like this willingness to learn, this willingness to kind of like to hear people out, and like then I think you get much better at facilitating conversations, right? And
Mhm.
by no means am I the best, right? I don't think that you think that you're the best at that either.
No.
I think this is like a skill that like we're all you know, trying to acquire and develop and stuff. But I really think that communication is really like a strong thing. Like out of all of those are like a really strong thing, right? But I think that communication element of it is
Mhm.
hearing people out, and I think that this is where people fall so short in a lot of areas of their life, right? Because you can
Right.
look at relationships, for example, right? You can be like, well, my wife didn't hear me out or whatever because my wife didn't hear me out, or my husband didn't hear me out or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
but did you hear him out? Were you just responding based off of, you know, fear, anger, emotions, or, you know, what situation just happened? Or did you step back and did you listen to him? Or did I listen to you? You know what I mean? And I think that, or even in work or whatever, right? People are just like, dude, my fucking boss is such a dick or whatever. But why is he a dick? Did you listen to him? Did you ask him, like, you know, hey, what's wrong? Is my performance lacking? Like, where am I missing up at or whatever, right? And I'm just trying to like translate like this little, you know, excerpt from what you were saying into like a, you know, like kind of like daily life for people or whatever, right? But I really think that communication is such a big pillar that people, you know, they miss that all the time.
Right. And that's huge. Communication, any aspect of your life, people don't realize how important it is. And the biggest part of communication where people fail is listening. Listening to understand, right? And
Hmm.
you always, like you said, you hold on to two words or a phrase they talked about, and you take that, and you already have a response ready, and you're just waiting to let your response out instead of listening to like what else they got to say, you know. And
Yeah, man, because you just want to light the fire under their ass. They're just like,
yeah.
you said what about my dog? You
Right.
know, and then that's all, you know. And yeah, you know, I think it's so funny that when people do that, right? And I've met like, you know, many people that have tried to like do that, but it's like why though, right?
Mhm.
I always ask myself that question, and it's like, you know, in many areas, right? But it's like, why do people do that? And I always try to break down kind of like the human condition. Why do people do that? But I do it to myself. I do it too, right? And you know, when I try to like break that down, I'm just like, why do I do it? But I don't think about it then, right? Like I think about it right now. And if I had a situation where I did that, I'd be like, like. But I think it boils down to just like you said, right? Like they just didn't listen. Like you just didn't listen to the what they were saying, right? Even if you listen to the entire thing that they were just saying right now, you already had your response. That means you checked out like 17 lines ago.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think, when we're talking about having a monumental mindset, it's not only, winning those private battles and being strong for yourself, but it's also, winning those public battles as well. And communication is the biggest thing with that. So, having a monumental mindset, you got to be strong for yourself, strong for others, and be able to prosper in life in all aspects, right? And I think communication is kind of something that a lot of people lack. I do. Obviously, I do it, I mean, big time. That's something I've been working on. I think I read a book called "How to Talk to Anyone." It's actually a pretty good book. It's
Mm.
like 92 different tips on how to like communicate and stuff. It has been a while, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it was a pretty good book, so I'd recommend it. I have to go back and read it. But I think people focusing on communication skills is big, especially nowadays with everyone on their phones all day and all that as well. Just being able to talk person to person. People just don't know like body language, just your tone, how you like respond to the other person. A lot of different things go into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, all of that is important to know how it affects someone else's perception of you or what you're saying, how you want to get your message across. And I don't know, it's a lot. That it's not something I'm an expert on by any means, but I did a little bit of reading on it and I've been working on it and I've been improving. So overall, I think just communication, work on it, and there's always because I think I saw something before, right? You can be the smartest person in the room, right? But if you don't know how to communicate, what someone that's like quote unquote dumb and knows how to communicate and talk to somebody, they can sound like the smartest person in the room when you're someone else that actually is. So I probably worded that weird, but you know what I kind of mean there, right?
Yeah, so there's actually this really amazing quote that I heard a long time ago, and um, it's by Dr. Richard Feynman, and I think this is the guy that invented like the nuclear bomb or something like that, or he was like one of the big scientists like back in like World War II, and he said, or maybe he's not somebody whose hands are dead or red with genocide, but his name Dr. Richard Feynman, and he says if you don't understand something, if you can't explain something in simple terms, you don't actually understand it. And I
Yeah,
think that that's what you're kind of alluding to, right? Because you can be the smartest person in the room, and a lot of times I kind of, and first of all, actually I have to circle back a little bit because I
that,
actually think that you're a fantastic communicator. Like you have a really great ability of like the information that's inside of your head, the information that like you've read inside of books. You're really able to kind of like articulate this very well. At least for me, it's very digestible.
yeah,
But like you're able to kind of like convey the message like in a very um like authentic and passionate way, and I really think that it translates really well into the form of communication that you think that you're not so good with, but I actually think that you're a very effective communicator. I really do.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, I actually got that feedback a long time ago, like when I was a tutor in college, right? It's basically taking information in, right? All this complicated information and know how to like I call it baby it down. And you know, be able to teach someone that is new to it or be able to talk in terms that they understand, right? When I'm teaching someone, whether it's calculus, physics, or writing or whatever it may be, right? It's just when I'm teaching them this stuff, it's just knowing how to take it in and then let it out a different way that they can understand. That's why it's important to understand your audience, right? And knowing how to
Mhm.
communicate, right? If I'm talking to a group of scientists or if I'm talking to Sally Q walking down the street, I'm I'm gonna word things differently so that they can understand, right? And just or just knowing like the aspects they want to hear about, right? Like when you're at your job,
Mhm.
you're talking to like management. At the end of the day, all I care about is money, 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 right? But if you're talking to
Results, 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 right?
yeah,
They don't care how you got there or where you fucked up. It's just like,
right.
what's the result?
So you just want to know what's important to them and really focus in on that, and that and just knowing your audience, right? And that's where listening, understanding who you're talking to and how they can better digest of what you're trying to tell them. Because I mean, sometimes I make mistakes. I get so deep into these like algorithms and all these formulas and all this crazy stuff, but like at the end, you got to know who you're talking to. They're not gonna algorithms and formulas all you have in these spreadsheets or whatever you're doing, right? You just here's your results. Here's a nice sexy picture. You can visualize it, and this is how you get there, right? So it's just you take a lot of, for me, I take a lot of data, visualize the data, and know how to show it to people, blah blah blah, like, or whatever it is, whatever you're
Mhm.
working on. It could be a lot of different things. And, um, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of talking left, right, everywhere else, but
No, yeah, but I think that you are like a really effective communicator. I think you're really good at like conveying the information that like I think and I think like one of the big reasons for that is actually like you understand it from a very practical standpoint, and then
yeah,
like you're able to kind of translate it the way that you understand it, right?
hmm,
And I think that's awesome. Like for me, like I kind of gotta like read things over. Like first of all, like with talking, like sometimes I just
yeah,
like, oh, so I'll fucking rattle off and talk about this and right. Like I'll go too fast or whatever, and I have to remind myself actually. Like I know like I'm figuring it out here, right? But like when I'm on sales calls, like man, there's like this like my like when Tony Robbins talks about like the alter egos that you have or whatever. Like you
yeah,
have your magician, you have like your lover, you have like your warrior and stuff, right? But like I have something that like I turn on um when I'm when it's sorry, I'm looking at my dog. My dog's
you
rolling down the stairs right now. But I have like this thing that I turn on when I'm on sales, right? And I
uh,
almost like convey this information like I do it like much slower, right? So like I'll talk more like this, like when I'm talking about like the houses or when I'm talking about what we do there, when with like a deep clean, right? And like I'm able to kind of like translate that information that I know very convincingly, right? Where it's almost like where it's not really like persuasion because like you're trying to you want to sell the thing that you're selling to them, right? But
mm,
what you really want to do is like effectively communicate. And I think that this is kind of like forgot what I was saying, what like the main point was. Oh, but it was like when I'm on podcasts, right? Like sometimes I notice myself, I always go for like these filler words here. And I
yeah,
noticed that like when I'm watching over like these the two episodes that we did, I
mm,
have these filler words. I go and like. But
yeah,
generally like in and I fucking hate that. But like generally when I'm talking like I just did it right now. But generally like when I'm talking in like regular like conversations over the phone, like between me and you, rarely do I use like. When I'm talking on like a sales call, like I almost never use like or right?
right,
And I'm trying to figure out like why that is because here I'll do that. And I'm trying to figure out like if it's just a new modality, right? Of
right,
if there's like a new modality that I'm trying to learn here and if I'm just in the process of acquiring the skill of me translating this information right on the spot where it's almost like freestyle rapping uh like over like podcasts or whatever with no beat
mm,
versus like information that I've already processed and digested, and I'm able to really effectively like communicate this to a client really easily, right? Because
mm,
when I'm talking to them, like it flows like off of me, right? But here it's almost I always use these filler words, and I don't know why. I'm trying to figure it out, but I don't know why.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like filler words are for me are more like if I lose my train of thought or feel uncomfortable. But that's probably different for everyone, you know. And say the again because I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm still on the beach, man.
It's still on the beach, sipping mimosas on the beach out of coconuts.
Red stripes, baby.
Pinkies up. That's right. Just like that. No, that's funny. Yeah, but yeah, I really do think that this can and by no means, right, like we're not experts on communication or anything like that, or
No,
we're not experts
um,
on, mental. I guess we should probably like preface all of these things and say like, hey, we are not experts in anything. Like we're
no.
just two blokes out here from Streamwood. Like do not take any of this as like, prescriptions prescribed by doctors for to cure your mental health conditions or whatever. Like
Right.
we're just here for entertainment or whatever. Like we should probably put something like that so somebody's like, hey, like we're suing Monumental Mindsets now or some shit.
Right.
you know
Uh,
but no, that's funny though. But yeah, I really do think like communication is probably like I would think that it's the pillar of everything, right? Like listening and communication, like authenticity. But I
yeah.
really think that those are like probably because when you even like break these down into like even more like micro, like there's like the big picture of that, right? Like where's your vision, where's all that? But like you really break down communication, and it's even how you communicate to yourself, right? And I
Yeah.
think that that's probably one of the most essential things in developing or adopting a monumental mindset, kind of like circling this thing back.
Yep.
But adopting a monumental mindset really starts with you, right? And if you can't start with you, if you can't command yourself, if you can't say like, hey, today we're waking up at 5, right? Today we're going to go to the gym. Today we're going to hit a PR. You know what? Today I'm not actually feeling that well. So today I'm actually going to take it light, right? And you know how to communicate with yourself. You know how to tell yourself, hey, this is what we're doing, right? The first step of all of this is like knowing how to command yourself, and the micro on top of that is like knowing how to talk to yourself, right? And knowing like I did it again. I keep catching these likes, and I'm gonna annihilate those likes uh, from all of my communication from fucking podcasting, man. I'm telling you, it bothers me so much. Like when I listen back to him, just like, why the fuck did I say like 6 times in fucking 7 seconds? but but yeah, I really think that it boils down to how do you talk to yourself, right? In the morning. Like, do you talk to yourself like you're a piece of shit in the morning? Do you talk to yourself like you're worthless, like you're nothing, like you can't be loved, like there's no community out there that will ever understand you? Or do you
Hmm.
talk to yourself like, hey, I'm gonna find that community. I am strong. I like it's kind of like affirmations, right? Like, but affirmations and incantations, like the clip that you posted today, but I
Yep.
really think that those are a little bit different because those are things that you tell yourself that you want to become, right? Those are things that you want to tell yourself that like these things are possible. I can get these things. But I think the conversation that you have with yourself is so much more important than that, right? And it's literally tricking yourself and saying like, "Hey, I'm worthy of all these things. I'm, and I deserve it," right?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk in communication, right? I know we talk a lot about like person to person or whatever, but the communication to yourself is huge, and that's just what you're telling yourself in your mind. Like for example, I just got back from vacation, right? I can tell myself, oh, I got to go back to work. I got to do this. I got to go back to waking up early. I got to go back. No, it's I get to do this. Reframing your thoughts and
Hmm.
what you say to yourself to make it more positive. Make everything positive. Just make it. You have the choice to make it positive. Make it positive. And it's simple. It's not simple, but it is simple at the same time. Trust me, I've been through a lot of negativity in my past, but like now, man, I find the positivity out of everything, and it just feels amazing, right? And so when you communicate to yourself, communicate positively, whatever. I can't talk.
Positively.
But like when you're talking to yourself, or when you talk, even like kind of like talking about your day. Oh, I gotta go to work. Oh, no, I get to go to work. I get to go make money. I get to provide for my family. I get to provide for myself. I get to fund vacations for myself. I get to do this stuff. And it's just turn everything positive and watch your mind change. Fucking, it makes a world of a difference. Just think positive. Some
Hmm.
shitty happens. It happened for a reason. Find it. And it's it's kind of like this story.
The man with the mug.
Man with the mug. Yeah, I don't think I talked about that on this podcast.
No, you didn't, dude. You gotta tell that story. You've gotta tell that story and then clip it and then post it because that's such a good story.
Yeah, so yeah, we're in Bend, Oregon. I don't know how you say it, but one of the two. And then we do like an annual
Oregano?
oregano. We're there for like an annual fantasy football draft that we do. So we had a big group of people, and it was day, I don't know what day it was, day 4, day 5, but time to go home, right? And we're driving to the airport, and I think it was I don't know anything about I don't know anything about cars, but I think the coolant was leaking, something like that. I think the coolant line broke and it was kept on leaking, so we couldn't drive of the rental car, right? So we pull over at a gas station, try to put more coolant in it, and try to drive with it, and the coolant just flushed right out. So at the end of the day, we couldn't make it to the airport on time to get our flight. So we had to call, reschedule the flight, blah blah blah. But what in that process, right? So we're broken down by a gas station. We're trying to work on this car. Like, oh shit, we need to get back home. We're gonna miss our flight. Man, this sucks. Like, blah blah blah. And then this like mystic man comes out of the fucking fog in the background with this little mug and a big old like just a mustache. It was like little weird mustaches like this, right? I'm telling you, this guy comes out of nowhere with his mug, and he's like looking. I thought this guy was gonna be like say something stupid, right? Something like a dick, and just say. But no, yeah, this mystic man comes with this mustache and his mug, and he's like, looking at the engine, like we have an issue with the car. He's like, I was just waiting to hear what the hell's gonna come out of his mouth, and he's like, everything happens for a reason. You just have to find it. And then he walks away, and he's gone. And I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck did you just say? So then, like, then we're able to reschedule a flight without any extra fees. We went to like the last standing blockbuster, which was pretty cool and everything. So we got an basically an extra day in Oregon, and it was fantastic. So so what I'm trying to say is like, everything happens for a reason. You just got to find it, right? But it's reframing your thoughts. We could have sat there and be like, motherfucker, this car's broken. We're not gonna get back home. Blah blah blah. But then you just look at it like, what positive can we make out of this? The car broke down. Okay, we get an extra day in Oregon. Let's make the most of it, right? And we got a flight schedule for free and everything, and it was pretty cool. But I mean, the craziest thing of the story is this mystic man. Like I live by that saying every fucking day. I want to get it tattooed on me, man. Just a mug and a mustache with that saying. Everything happens for a reason. You just have to find it. Cause like I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Ever since I heard that saying and like these things happen, and I'm like, I repeat that in my head. I'm like, this guy, he's the wisest words I've ever heard. And it's just kind of it's one, I believe a little bit in faith, and like everything does happen for a reason, and the universe acts in crazy ways, and energies align, and blah blah blah. I don't know all that stuff, but so I believe in something like that. But also like the other part of it is just making the best of the situation. Like everything happens, find it. Like, okay, make it positive, right? You can make a situation negative, but you have the choice to make it positive, and that's powerful. That's very powerful to make any situation positive.
Yeah, that is first of all, that story is like so beautiful, right? And it's so cool. There's like a whole nother like translation that maybe one day like you'll share that story too, like the
Yeah.
other one that happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's so powerful just to like reframe, right? Because you're right. You could have just been like kicking the car, kicking dirt, spitting, fucking throwing rocks at the other cars that are passing by that aren't stopping
Right.
for you or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of power in just like the reframe, right? And
Mhm.
I've like personally found a lot of power in like just reframing like these things. And it's not like, I still have like, bad moments or whatever. I'm just like, oh, fucking bullshit. But then I'm just like, I try to catch myself and just be like, you know what? Like, it's not that bad, and like just try and find like the power in the situation, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, right, like if you just look at everything like it is, right, like if you look at it like the reality is that it's bad, and you just keep on with like the bad trajectory of that, then
Yeah.
everything else is going to be bad, right? But in hindsight is always 2020, right? But like if you look at it as like okay, like this is bad, but how can we look at it as like a positive? And once you start, because like there's that whole Tony Robbins thing, right? Where he's just like, okay, close your eyes, like look around the room or whatever. Like, have you seen anything red or whatever? Um, and well, it's like what it is. It's like the reticular activating system, right? And what happens like with the reticular activating system is like if you see like Tesla's driving all the way around the road or whatever, and like all of a sudden like or somebody buys a Tesla is what it is, right? Or
Yeah.
like that's around you or whatever, and you're just like, man, nice Tesla or whatever, right? You're just like, maybe I'll buy one. And then all of a sudden you start seeing Teslas all over the place, right? Or like, an Acura, like Integra or whatever, right? Like it's one of the cars I was looking at before, but like you start seeing these things all over the place, but it's because it became aware for you and your reticular activating system, like it registered it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like if you keep looking at shit that's like positive like that, like eventually like like you're gonna reframe the bad situation, the reality of like a bad situation. It's gonna be like, there's positive that's gonna come out of this.
Yeah.
And that's why that story is so beautiful, man, because like I literally, that's one of my favorite stories like of all time, like the mystic man coming out with the mustache and a mug, and he's just in the middle of nowhere, the fucking sunset, one road, one lane. Not a mechanic.
Nah. It was, dude, it's crazy. And then like, yeah, like maybe later episode I'll mention like kind of how it all aligns at the end, but it's just crazy.
At the beginning. At the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah. But it's crazy, that saying is so powerful if you use it the right way. Everything happens for a reason. You just have to find it, and that's just
Mhm.
you know, it just I like I said, before we started this Monumental Mindset, the big reason why we did is we've both been through these dark times, and if those dark times never happened, I would never be the man I am now, right? And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the shit I've been through. I'm grateful for all the pain and suffering I went through, right? And without pain and suffering, you don't appreciate the good either, right? So it's tough, it sucks, but like all that, when you go through those wars, the mental battles, shit happening in your life that's not going your way at all and hitting rock bottom, like once you go from there and you work your way up and you realize like if you never hit rock bottom, you've never been motivated to um, become a better person, right? You're just kind of living in comfort, but once you hit that like breaking point, like damn, I hit rock bottom, I got nothing anymore, right? I literally at one point in my life I felt I had nothing, zero, I lost everything, right? And because I lost myself for one, but then I lost a bunch of others, just people and everything else, and it was hard for me, right? Because um, back then, I say back then, it was a long time ago, but it feels like it was months ago, not even a year, but it was like 7 months ago. I felt like I
84 years later or
yeah,
before.
you know,
The Titanic.
how much you can do in 7 months, man. Something like that, 6, 7 months of just changing myself, like finding myself, right? Because if you lose yourself, you have nothing, honestly. Like and that's where I always felt, right? I always felt like I was just stuck and I didn't know what I wanted and everything else. And that's when I got motivated to start doing all this reading and working on my mental health. And then once I got, mentally strong, then okay, how can I continue to improve that and keep on reading, doing the reading. And then once you get that, you have that energy, that positive energy that you're working hard, and you meet other people that are doing that, right? And you build up that synergy and you just continually grow your life, man. And you just the biggest thing, honestly, is just being grateful for everything you've been through and not regretting anything. Everything happens for a reason. You just gotta find
Yeah.
it. It's you because you can weep and weep in the negative, right? Like, oh, why did this happen to me? This, oh my God, this and that, blah blah blah. But instead, be like, you know what? Why is this happening to me? You can find opportunity out of it, right?
Mhm.
Find opportunity, and that's a good way to word it, I guess. Right. So
Yeah,
something.
that's such a powerful reframe that you just said. Why is this happening to me?
Yeah,
You know what I
why is
mean? Like, yeah, look at it as like not like like oh my god, this happened to me, but why is this happening to me? That's such a powerful reframe, I think.
Yeah, because instead of victimizing yourself, because once you play victim, you can't change anything because you're blaming your outside forces, right? So never play victim. You play victim, you can't. Then you're saying you got no control. Oh, I'm doing this because of this because of this. No, you have power over everything. Not everything, but everything that you can control, right? Your thoughts, your actions, blah blah blah. So I lost my train of thought. Forgot what I was gonna say.
No,
But
but I think that there's one amazing thing that you said inside of there, right? And it's like the suffering. And I think that there is one of my favorite, he who shall not be named or whatever, Andrew Tate. But he has like this incredible line, right? And it's like, suffer because you're weak, or suffer to become stronger. But
Yep.
there's no avoiding the suffering,
Right.
because no matter what happens inside of your life, like no matter where you are inside of your life, like you will suffer no matter fucking what. Like you gotta work, it's like a little bit of suffering inside of there. If you
Yeah.
gotta, like fucking take the car to the car wash or whatever, but you had something else to do, like you're suffering just a little bit or whatever. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying, like, is there's no getting out of life without having a little bit, like a lot of suffering inside of your life. But the most powerful thing I think from that is like you can take a lesson from it, right? And you can become stronger from it. Or you can, just like you said, you can be the victim of that suffering. And you can just be like, man, fuck this. Like everything sucks. Like this happened because my parents, this happened because, my friend down the street or whatever fucking didn't put like the brakes on the car or whatever it is, right?
Right.
But I think taking lessons like from the suffering is, it, because me and you wouldn't be, doing a podcast, or we wouldn't
Right.
be,
Yeah.
having these monumental conversations or whatever, like even off air, right? Like when
Right.
we have like a conversation on the phone and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, like, unless you sit inside, and this is something that I picked up from you, and this is so powerful too, man, because like when you sit inside of that pain, when you
Mhm.
sit inside of like that discomfort, when you sit inside of those feelings and those thoughts, and you sit there and you really try to work it out, you're suffering, right? But that suffering teaches you something. It teaches you, like, fuck, like that thing could have been avoided, or like, it probably couldn't have been avoided because the pain had to teach you anyways, but
Yep.
it could have been avoided. It will be avoided in the future because now I'm learning the lesson. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Mhm.
I think that's like the ultimate teacher of life, is like, because no breakthrough happens unless you go through something that's tragic, right? And
Right.
it can be like losing your parent, losing your job, losing, because if you just sit in like your comfortable zone like all the time, and your life is just coasting along, and you're just like sitting there and you're just like, you know what, everything's fine, but I'm waiting for something to happen, waiting for something to happen. Boom, it happens. You lose your job, you lose your mom, you lose your dad, you lose, somebody who is really close to you or whatever, right? All of a sudden, like, your world becomes shattered. The ground from underneath you gets ripped off, right? And then all of a sudden, like, that, comfortable world that you were living in, it has to change, right? And it has to change because you're suffering. And on the other side of the suffering is the you that you need to be now for yourself, I
Right.
think.
No, I agree, man. Like, without suffering, you don't even appreciate the good times, right? If everything's going well, going well, going well, it's like it's relative at that point, right? Everything's just neutral if everything's well. But once
Hmm.
you suffer, you hit like a new low, then you hit this high. Now you're appreciating that high because you've been down there, you've been low, and it's just you hear a lot of famous athletes or comedians or actors that lived a rough life growing up, and now they become like the superstar, right? And it's just anything's possible, and I almost feel like it's more possible if you go through the pain. And at least
Hmm.
it's crazy because the way I think about it, right, is you got um, what's a good way to compare it? Like rich kid. I don't want to talk shit about rich kids, but like kids that are handed everything, right? If you're handed everything in your life, you're not working hard for it, you're not gonna appreciate it, right? You never had a lot. Like if mommy, daddy give you a Corvette and $1 million and a house and do whatever you want, like you're not gonna appreciate it as much because you didn't have to put the work in, you didn't have to suffer, you didn't have to put your blood, sweat and tears in it, right? But like
Hmm.
if you hit that rock bottom and now you're like, damn, I got nothing. And you work from there and you work for what you have. I just feel like it's so much more appreciation for yourself and like you're like, damn, I did this. And I feel like you develop so much more purpose and like you just feel like a man. I don't know how to explain it, but like, as opposed to being handed everything and all and I'm trying to compare that to like pain, right? Because if you never feel the pain, you're not gonna know what feeling good feels like until you felt that pain. Mm.
I think that I know what you're saying, and I think that those people that are given those things, they have different values in their life. Like
Yeah.
the value that they put on, $1 million isn't relative to if somebody's going through, like if their parents are struggling or something and they're growing up or whatever, like the value of $1 million to somebody when they put like low level value on that thing and the value of $100 to like a family that's struggling, I think is not relative, right? Because that kid is just like, man, my dad will just buy like another Ferrari next week or whatever, right? Like we're going to, Calabasas or whatever.
Right.
And and like somebody that's struggling, they're just like, man, I want to go to fucking Jewel, right? Like I want to
Right.
buy like some pasta or whatever. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's a
mean? Like I
whole
want to make some
very
spaghetti tonight,
yeah.
you
Yeah, it's
know?
so
And
many
that's
different
why I think like go
okay.
ahead.
You gotta leap up.
Uh but that's why I think like the value of it's like the value on those things, right? Like if somebody's what do they call them? Trust fund babies, right? Like if you're a trust
Mhm.
fund baby, like what do you, you've inherited millions of dollars and your parents are gone or whatever, but like money was like your only thing. Like once that money's gone, you're not going to know how to get that money back,
Right.
right? But and this is kind of like circling back to those things that you were saying in the beginning, right? When you were saying like, you become somebody that attracts the people that are in your circle, you incongruently, right? Like you also, like if you learn how to make $1 million and you lose it, like chances are of you making $1 million are pretty high again, right? Like you'll learn how to start another business or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Like you automatically, not automatically, right? This is going to take a lot of work, but like you magnetically, you have like a certain attraction, a certain affiliation towards money because you've become somebody who has made $1 million, right? As
Right.
opposed to like the trust fund babies or whatever, or the lottery ticket winners.
Mhm.
Those people are like, they've been given this big thing or whatever. And if they haven't had those stackable traits, like if they haven't learned how to manage the money and, effectively talk to people, communication, like if they haven't, adopted a monumental mindset or whatever, like they don't know how to like navigate the tricky waters of life, right? So
Right.
that's why I think that I kind of forgot like what we were talking about, but I know it was like values, they don't have the same values in those things.
Right. And I think it's not even just going through the hard work and the pain and suffering, but just not dumb it down, but kind of like just any mistake in general, right? You learn from any mistake. Like for example, this podcast episode 3 is probably not our best because we're losing thought a lot of times, but we're gonna learn from it, right? And that's great, and it's awesome. Like I don't care. Like we're losing train of thought, we're thinking of ideas on the fly, we're doing it right, and it's important that we make mistakes so that we can know how to make it better going forward, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
that's what's beautiful about this. There's no pressure on this. It's we're just me and you talking and shooting from the hip, and we'll learn as we go. Like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, right.
But it's just I see. I don't know where I'm going with
I think a big thing about life though, and I think that this is what a lot of people miss, and I think that this is so valuable for not only having monumental mindsets or whatever, but I think really what it is like is life is about reps, right? Like your body's about reps, your mind's about reps, like how good you read is about reps, like your
Mhm.
relationship is about the reps, right? Like your everything that you do is about the reps. And I think that there's like this awesome thing that I heard, and it's that um that most skills take 20 hours to learn, but people push off learning those 20 hours for years, right? Like it'll, like, you know what I mean? Like if you take like it takes 20 hours to learn the guitar. It takes 20 hours to learn how to run a business or whatever. It takes
Mhm.
20 hours to learn how to do, this relatively, right? Like I'm sure it takes a lot more, for a lot of things that for being a doctor, it doesn't take 20 hours, right? Like let's be honest, but there's a lot of school that, teaches you beforehand, right? But
Mhm.
most skills take 20 hours to learn, but most people delay learning those first 20 hours or whatever for years. And I
Mhm.
think that um shit, I forgot again where I was going with that.
Rename this episode of shit. I forgot,
It
but
was something good. Fuck, man. Oh, monumental mindset, right? It's about doing the reps. And I
mhm.
think you can passively do these reps. Like you can passively read the books and be like, yeah, I got another book under my belt or whatever, right? Or you can like run, hundreds of thousands of miles, right? But what's the goal to your rep, right? Like what do you really want to achieve from that thing? Like, you know, if you really like, if you kind of take like that context of learning something for 20 hours and like doing actual physical reps, like and again, like you can spend, 50 years, or maybe not 50 years, but you can spend 20 years inside of the business and you can only learn the first 2 hours of that thing, right? And that means that like you haven't effectively, learned the third hour, learn the fourth hour, learn the fifth hour, and then, grown inside the company or the organization and become somebody of value who can one day be like one of the managing partners or the CEO or whatever it is inside of that business, right? Or a franchise owner
Right.
for like a Chick-fil-A or something. But and it's like it's doing the reps, right? Because if you do reps that count, like you're going to get a better body. If you read just a book that had a whole bunch of value for you instead of reading 57 books or whatever, it's going to have more value to you in your life, and that's better reps, right? Doing better reps, learning better skills, like translates so much inside of like life and in business and relationships and everything.
Right. And with the reps comes mistakes, and that's how you learn even more, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Like today, I just fucked up my pec because when I was at the gym, I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I'm going to get this last one. And I fucking did. And that was a bad rep. You know what I mean? Like, because now I'm probably going to be out from benching for the rest of the week. So not all reps are worth doing.
Right. Yeah. And you learn from that one mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And for me, I did a full body today, just get things moving. But
Looking sexy over there.
full
The meat mortars.
No, it's just the tanning makes it look big. No,
Yeah, right. He wishes. He says it's the tan. He says it's the white tea, but it's not. It's those massive motherfucking muscles over there, baby.
but I was like, I was gonna say, but yeah, I mean, shit.
but but you know what? I think I actually think that this is a really beautiful podcast because it's not, the first one was like kind of like getting like our feet wet, getting like the feel of this thing. The
Mhm.
second one we kind of had like, something like where it was much more structured, right? And
Yeah,
it
it was
felt a
structured.
little bit, it felt a little bit different, and it felt really good. But I think that there's a lot of magic because I just look at the time right now and it's been an hour. And again, when we talked on the phone earlier, I can't believe it's an hour. Right now is the same thing. But we've had like a lot of moments where it's like, man, fucking brain fog. Didn't eat my blueberries today or whatever. But so blueberries actually, they there's this thing where he's joking over there, swallowing the spit. But so the blueberries actually, if we want to get a little bit geeky in that, so apparently like they increase like BDNF, which is like brain nootropic derived factors or whatever, and it makes your brain think a lot more clearly. I don't know why, I don't know what the science is behind it, but apparently just one cup of blueberries like helps your BDNF, like it goes through the roof or whatever, and like your cognitively you're much more sharp for at least like a little bit of time or whatever, but you're much more sharp just eating blueberries. Or I think there's a couple of sauna too, like doing like 15 minutes of sauna four times a week, or 4 to 7 times per week or whatever. Like they have a lot of like, they lower inflammation and they increase BDNF.
Yeah,
Sounds like BDSM. All right, time for the real show.
That's for OnlyFans, man.
Barker's over there. Yeah. Yeah. What's it called? You got to get in the. Oh, look at him. He's got like a little frog suit.
Yeah.
He's like Mario in the
Oh
Mario
yeah,
3.
yeah, you're right. He does have like a frog suit, Mario.
Yeah, it's like Mario. I only know that because like because Milo's like super into like Mario right now, and like he's jumping like Mario does in the backpack there. But no, he's so Milo's like really into like Mario right now, and like
Mhm.
it's such a blast from the for like a couple of years now, but it's such a blast from the past, like playing Mario 3, Mario All Stars, and like I just got him like Mario Party, and like I just played for the first time like 2 days ago, like Mario Party 8 or whatever. Man, it's
Mhm.
so much fun. I suck at it. He whoops me, but
Oh shit! No, I remember those Mario games, Donkey Kong Countries,
Donkey Kong
Zelda's my
Country.
favorite. All Nintendo stuff, man. So I grew up on Nintendo,
Yeah, same here.
but
Yeah,
you're
fuck,
doing
man.
good, frog man.
No, but I was saying, what was I saying? I was saying that this is like I think that this is really just like I think at the end of the day, like this is a really magical podcast, man, because like it feels like we're catching like a stride. At least for myself, I know that for sure I'm learning how to better not say like like you know what I mean? Like I'm getting so much better at that, like at the more we go through this.
Mhm.
And and there's this cool thing. I have a whole bunch of like notes of like things I'm like trying to write about, and one of them is crystallized intelligence, right? And
Mhm.
one of the things about like crystallized intelligence is like all your intelligence, all your experiences, all your things that like about like life. The more you go through life, it's kind of like those what are they like in the caves or whatever? It's like those stalagmites that like they go like the water drips and like they get bigger or whatever, or like even when some of the rock formations like they grow out, but they start with like a really small thing, but then they crystallize and they get bigger, right? And this is the same thing with like the intelligence that you have, like your intelligence, your experiences. It's called crystallized intelligence, and the more you do, quote unquote, the reps again.
Mhm.
um but the more you do the reps, like the more you learn to engage in conversations, the more that like your the intelligence that you have in your memory bank, the more that you learn how to translate this thing, right? So like for instance, like if I start talking about like like fuck, I doing it again, god damn it. like but but if I start talking about the pyramids, or if I start talking about moon phases, or if I start
Mhm.
talking about like space or something, right now it's not going to translate well because I'm still catching the stride on how I'm learning to talk like on this thing. But that's why I think that this is such a beautiful podcast, because we're catching wheels, we're catching wind, and like our capes are flying like Mario and Super Mario world.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman, baby.
But yeah, we should probably wrap this up in a little bit here, so my brain fog can get healed with some sleep.
I know, me too, man. But man, amazing, amazing, amazing
Yeah, man.
episode 3. I think this is going to be such a fun one. Open it up with Costco hot dogs.
I forgot about that.
It was the first 5 minutes was Costco hot dogs.
Costco hot dogs, dude. That's so juicy, man. They're so good. Another song in
And
my mouth.
you go up to like the thing and you take your bun out of the the wrapper and you go like squirt it like with the stuff over there. Did you squirt yours or no? They have
Nice.
like a whole they
Oh
have
no.
a whole condiment section over there, so you could put like relish, ketchup, mustard over there, and then
Oh
yeah,
really? I
and then
didn't
they have like a station where you can grind up your own coffee, because they have like whole bean coffee there, and if you wanted to grind up your coffee there, you open the bag, you put it in the grinder, and then you put it back, like it grinds it up and puts it back in the bag for you. Well,
Oh
you put it in the bag, but like they have a coffee grinder and shit.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, Costco's the shit, dude. You're gonna love it.
Costco newbie, man.
It's the
I'm learning.
best, dude. It's so cool. You're never gonna go anywhere else.
I love it, man. Everything's just big and meaty.
Big and meaty. Yes, sir.
Got me a bunch of nuts today too, man. Not elite nuts, but I got me some nuts.
Elite. Oh my god. Elite nuts. You got those big black covered chocolate ones.
Mhm.
So funny. Oh my god. All
All
right.
right, we're just going off the I
We're
don't
at
know.
monumental tangents again.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, to wrap this thing up, I forget what the whole purpose of, or not the whole purpose, the whole topic was, but there's Parker's toy.
That is so funny.
But
You're like, I don't
just
think
what
we
a
have.
monument.
I don't think we. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess like it was adopting a monumental mindset, right?
Adopting monumental mindset. We're talking about wieners. But yeah, I mean, a monumental. I probably gonna probably repeat a lot of what I said in the beginning because I don't remember. But just you know, what? But yeah, just
Barker's. We're gonna put this episode with Barker.
with Barker. Yeah, he just wants to play with his toy. But yeah, just having a monumental mindset is essentially knowing what you want, right? And knowing you have control over everything, right? Don't play victim. Blame yourself for everything. You control your life, right? Positive, negative. You choose positive, right? Choose positive all the time. Fuck the negative. Something happens, you go positive, right? You have that choice. Knowing what you want, right? Know what you want, who you want to be, and know how to get there, right? And that's part of it. And then the other part is not letting anything get in your way, right? Be resilient. You're gonna have roadblocks. You're gonna have mistakes. You're gonna have things that happen to you that weren't planned. You're gonna have some things that happen that were planned. And just keep on going till you get to that point you want to be. And when you get to that point you want to be, there's still more to be done, right? Be grateful that you met that goal. But what's next, right? Don't be complacent.
Yeah.
Never be complacent. It's continual improvement. I think I forget the definition we put on the Instagram or whatever, but it's having a resilient mindset, right, to succeed and continually improve, something like that.
Yeah, that
And
was it. That was
yeah,
it.
so you create that resilient mindset, right? You know what you want, and don't let anything penetrate you, right? But
Those meaty meats from Costco.
they'll be penetrated, by things you don't want to. And keep on,
Don't be penetrated. Oh my god. I'm putting that as the caption.
don't
Don't
be
get penetrated.
honestly, that's what the monumental mindset is don't be penetrated by things by things you don't want to be penetrated by, right?
I'm dying, dude. That is so funny. Don't get penetrated by things you don't want to get penetrated by.
That's the new quote.
Dude, we have to put that. Don't get penetrated by things you don't want to get penetrated by. Big meaty meats from Costco. Oh my god.
Woo! Ric Flair. Woo!
Composure. Oh man, that's so funny. Holy shit. That is so funny.
Yeah, but Ooh, man. Flaring over here.
Ric Flairin over here.
Woo!
Woo!
But yeah, just don't get penetrated. I think you don't want to get penetrated by. Simple as that. Woo!
Oh, dude, my cheeks hurt. Like I'm like this. Don't get penetrated.
Yeah, man. But okay. All right. Yeah, you know where you want to be, know where you want to go. Don't get penetrated. Don't let your mind get penetrated by thoughts or things you don't want it to get penetrated by. Okay, so
Okay. Oh, okay. Because I don't know if I can like do a serious one.
okay, here I go.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I think no, I think that these are I think that just like adopting a monumental mindset, I think it's really just about bulletproofing your mind. I really think it's about having a clear vision. I think it's about really good self-talk. I think it's about um having that self-talk direct your actions for the day. I think that, you know, really just adopting a monumental mindset is just coming to some kind of awareness, right, about the deficit that you're in right now, and knowing where you want to go from this deficit, right? Because you could just be like, I'm cool here, and then you're comfortable, right? And you're comfortable only till shit breaks, and then you have to go through suffering. But I think if you can go through suffering intentionally, right? Like there's like the big thing about like cold plunge. You don't have to do cold plunges. Just like go stretch yourself and do something that's a little bit hard today, and
Yeah.
then do it again tomorrow and do it again the next day, even if it's cooking dinner or something.
Right.
I think that, you know, I think having a monumental mindset is actually not so crazy, but I think it's about the journey to being monumental, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't ever want to get to the peak. You don't ever really want to feel like you're at the peak of the mountain. But I think like journeying up this mountain of like, I'm here, I'm here. I fell back down a little bit, but we're cool, we're good. This was supposed to happen. And I think that's what it's about. I think it's about the journey of trying to be who you think that you can be at the end of your life. And it's not about getting to the peak.
Right. And I liked how you said like you keep on going and going, you step back. This is supposed to happen, right? So don't
Yeah.
don't be let down by when something doesn't go your way. That's supposed to happen. That's gonna teach you a lesson, right? And
Mm-hmm.
being strong and resilient enough to realize that, because it's easy to fall back and be like, oh, and victimize yourself, whatever. But but just to be strong and take the lesson from it, right? Be like, this is, everything happens for a reason. Just figure out why, right? And it's think of the mustache in the mug, and
The mustache in the
everything
mug.
happens for a reason. You just got to find out why, and it's you find that reason, and now you can propel further forward, right? And it's if everything goes smooth, you're not gonna learn as much as when you hit these little road bumps and mistakes. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest thing is not being let down by this, and then also kind of going off not off topic, but like part of that too, right? Is you feeling good, you're making progress by doing things you want to do, but also progress is saying no to things you don't want to do. you know,
Beautiful.
yeah, saying no to things you don't want to do, that's a win. You know, doing things you need to do to reach your goals, that's a win, right? But also saying no to things that take you off the path of your goal, that's a win. You know, if your goal is not to drink and your buddies say, hey, Friday night we're going to Bungalow Joe or something. We're gonna drink some beers, come hang out with us. You say no, that's a win, because you're sticking to your goal and you're not, stepping back and doing something that's not you or who you want to be, right? The character you want to create. So always credit yourself for that, because for me, I had an issue for that for a long ass time, right? Whenever friends wanted to hang out or people wanted to do something, I always, stepped away from my values and who I want to be just to make them happy. And me saying no now, it was hard at first. Don't get me wrong, because you don't want to lose people in your life, but sticking to your authentic self and doing the things you want to do and saying no to things you don't want to do just feels so fulfilling, and it's amazing, right? And to me, like that's a big part of having a monumental mindset is sticking to the path you want to be on and don't let anyone bully you off of that path, right? And the people that belong in your life are still going to be there on the path with you, right? And if they go a different path, that's okay. And no hurt feelings, no anything, but everyone's going to have different goals and different paths in lives, and you got to be okay with that. And just being resilient enough to say this is what I want and I'm sticking to it, right? No matter what you lose on the way or what you gain, you're going to get there. And just being strong enough to keep on doing it, right? And because I know a lot of people, especially me, it's like, I'm scared to lose friends. I do things that make them happy, but at the end of the day, you got to prioritize yourself, and everything else falls in line. And like I'll talk about later episodes, maybe like people come to your life that were meant to be, and it's just like it feels amazing because now I'm the person I want to be, right? So I attract the energy of who I am now and who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm attracting people in my life that that I can connect with and build that synergy with because I've built that character that I really want to be in life, and I found my identity. Instead of kind of molding into other people and chasing things and this and that, you lose yourself and you're just not living your life the way it's meant to be. So that's a big part of it.
I love that. That was beautiful. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's just, you just got to stick to your path no matter what. And like I said, you lose things, you gain things. At the end of the day, you're gonna get where you want to be. It's gonna be tough, but like, just stick to it. Stick to it no matter what.
I
Don't.
think we should change the saying, and we should say, "Don't stick to your guns. We should stick to our meat mortars."
That guy has so many funny things.
Oh my god! So, dude, we should. You know what we should do actually? Because I was thinking, because like these videos keep popping up like on my YouTube or whatever, like in my algorithm, but it's like people reacting to music, but like we should do like reactions to maybe like a Monumental Mindset side channel or whatever, like Monumental Reactions or something. Yeah, but we can do like reactions to like bro science videos and like just just laugh our asses off or whatever. And then we can do like reactions to like because what's awesome is like you haven't heard like if you I think you listen to like a little bit of Sleep Token, but like there's like people that are like they're just so deep in like they're rich with like visuals, rich with like lyricism and stuff, and like but like it'd be cool to like have like your first reactions and stuff. I'm really deep into them, so like I already know everything, but it'd be really cool to have you be like, oh damn, that's crazy as hell or whatever, right? Or like reacting to like the new Blink album or whatever, right? Like where we do like a sit through or something. We just kind of like dissect the songs. So I think like Monumental Reactions would be pretty cool too.
Or maybe even connect it to like Monumental Mindset. Everything in a way, right? The music you listen to, the lyrics, the energy from the music affects your life. And
good point. Good point. Yeah. Great point.
I mean, when we say Monumental Mindset, that's everything, right? That's everything.
Yeah.
Everything affects your mindset. Your mind's involved in everything you do, right? Obviously. So like, listening to music, watching videos, all of that, plays a toll on your mind. What you're watching, what you're listening to, and how you digest it, right? You can listen to one thing and digest it one way or digest it another way, right? So it's not only what you're listening to, but how you digest it is important, and for me, like I've changed a lot of the music I listen to be more positive and uplifting, because now I'm digesting it a lot easier in a positive way, right? And it's kind of crazy because now that I listen to more of this positive stuff, because I've always been like a heavy rock, like negative stuff and blah blah blah. But now I can go back and listen to that kind of heavy negative stuff and almost like formulate it positive in a positive way. It's hard to explain. I won't explain it here. It's like when I get my mind thinking in that positive way. All this, I'm just, all this positive energy is penetrating my mind. That's what I want to be penetrated by, right? I want to be penetrated by positivity,
Penetrated by positivity. I'm writing that down.
And then you get used to it, right? You get used to all this positivity. Now I'm acting, positive every day of my life, and it's great. Yeah, you're gonna have bad moments up and down, but for the most part, everything's super positive. So now that even like these, sometimes I listen to negative music, I channel that in a positive way. For example, when I'm lifting heavy weight, right, I'm gonna put that heavy song, and I'm visualizing that weight as a fucking demon, and I'm gonna push it out of my life, right? And it's just like, and channeling that energy in a positive way, because it's hard to explain. It's
it's your spirit bomb.
Yeah, spirit bomb.
From Dragon Ball Z, yeah. That's your spirit bomb.
A whole episode of Spirit Bomb from Goku, I think it
was. When he's kicking the shit out of Frieza.
Yeah.
Well, that's a blast from the past. I haven't said that name in fucking 25 years.
But it's,
man.
Once you get in that positive wavelength, man, you keep on going. You can turn any situation to a positive, and that's important, right? Everything happens for a reason. You just gotta find out why, man. That's it.
Yes, sir.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I think no, this was beautiful, man. We're gonna end it here. Everybody, thank you. Our 5 fans who are consistently loving our stuff. Let's go. We're gonna make it,
baby.
If we got 5 now, let's get 10 by next year. Let's go. That's growth. That's growth, baby. But I'm gonna end it right here.
Yep.
And that